You live in it, you settle in it, and you don't think anything can look different. Those are the words of a woman who was taken in by her first sex trafficker at a very young age. Several years later, she found a way out and is using her experience to help other victims. Tonight, we share the story of that sex trafficking survivor who soon will be known across the country and the world.
I've been beaten, I've been shot, I suffer from a traumatic brain injury because of being beat. I fractured my hip, I fractured my pelvis.
It might not look like it on the outside, but Heather Pagan has made her way through some horrific experiences.
I met my first trafficker at the age of 14 who took advantage of a lot of vulnerabilities that I had. I had some childhood trauma, came from a very disturbed family, and lots of different things that happened during my pre-double-digit years that when I was 14, he knew about.
She shares her journey into and out of sex trafficking with us in our story, and the world in a documentary which can be seen on select streaming platforms. It's Fisher Films' The Slave in Your Backyard.
So if they need to come in and they need to scoop you up and kidnap you, they can and they will.
Heather, whose street name was Sapphire, describes her first pimp as an older white-collar man disguised with charm and good looks.
People knew him. He had a lot of clout with the club community, some of the restaurant community.
He was killed, but not before he inflicted a lot of damage on her and others by supplying drugs and women and granting other requests. He made a lot of promises too.
He just kind of like embraced me. I love you. Nothing ever bad's gonna happen to you. I'm your guy. I'll take care of you.
Heather says she soaked it up like a sponge. He died when she turned 21, and then it was on to the next trafficker, who made more promises and caused more trauma, selling her for sex, supplying more drugs, and inflicting even heavier abuse. At times, though, Heather dreamed about getting a real job, but didn't think she could.
I had a 9th grade education. I didn't finish high school. I didn't have anything to put on a resume with any background work. I had 2 kids by the time I was 17.
It might be difficult to understand, but Heather says some women escape human trafficking only to go back to it. One incident finally shocked her into reality. In Charleston, South Carolina in 2008, a man offered Heather's trafficker a lot of money to take her up and down the East Coast. That's when she knew she had to get out.
This is one that just scared me the most. I didn't think that I would ever return from it.
Heather's pimp surprisingly gave her the keys to his car so she could go to the store. She drove away, picked up another victim who needed help, and committed a traffic offense to get pulled over by a male and female officer, and didn't hold back about her identity.
And the only thing I keep saying over and over and over, kids, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. And the female officer who I was riding with, she asked me if I was okay, and I was like, oh girl, you have no idea. I'm better than okay.
Heather served 2 years of a 5-year sentence and the rest on probation. She says victims often go to jail for their pimps, even though they don't necessarily commit all the crimes. Now, she is the Survivor Support Director at Lighthouse for Life in South Carolina, giving back by helping others who are going through the same agony she endured.
As long as you have breath in your body, there is hope for your life, and it's not over. And we are living testimonies that if God can do it for me, He can do it for anybody.
Heather's amazing. The scars remain, but Heather's loving family, her efforts to help other victims, and a deep faith allow her to heal and feel hope. When we visited with her in November, she was here to see how Flint's Beauty for Ashes reaches out into the Genesee County community to offer food, counseling, and a safe harbor for those who are being trafficked. Fisher Films' documentary, The Slave in Your Backyard, which brings to light Heather's journey of being a victim and getting out of sex trafficking, is streaming on Apple TV and Amazon.